Oh, why? Ooh, that's not good for my throat. That is not a fake cough, that was real. Anyway. Hey guys, and welcome back to part 54, Christ, of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 for the PlayStation 3. And it is now time to finish off Silver's very hard mode with Kingdom Valley. Yes, it's time for my least favourite stage again. Although, we haven't gotten to some of Shadow's very hard stages yet. Remember that thing I said that I was going to practice some of those stages? Oh, I couldn't be bothered. So, by the power of YouTube, I shall look up where those keys are. So, well, you know what? I'm going to bring up some controversy here. Again. I think it's time I get a little bit more into, well, I'm going to say Sonic 06 versus, let's say, YouTube. Let's stick with YouTube. So, Sonic 06 is one of the few, was the first Sonic game that I tried looking for reviews for on YouTube. It was one of the first games I did. I don't think I would say it was the first. It was around 2013. I'd recently finished Sonic Colors for the first time. And when I was looking up some of these games in Sonic Generations, because I only knew what a few of them were. I played Heroes, I was aware of the other version of Unleashed, the superior version. And I was familiar with Colors. But what were these other games? These other games I had never heard of, but I still wanted to play Generations, but it wasn't on the Wii and I didn't have any other means of playing it. But then I discovered that there had been one game in particular that received a huge amount of negativity, and I was like, okay, well, very often the opinions of the general people are the complete opposite of what the critics tend to think. You get a film, and very often, many people really like the film and it's a commercial success, but the critics absolutely despise it. And that seems to be occur quite a lot in video gaming. Not always. I mean, there are times where things are the complete opposite. You can have a critically acclaimed title, but it doesn't do very well. Even if it does something that picks up in later years. Sly Cooper and Thievius Raccoonus. That didn't sell very well when it first came out, but nowadays it's lately at the time of this recording, it's something I can't seem to get away from. It's like Sly Cooper everywhere. Which is why when I found it on a discount, I still had enough money left in the PlayStation Network store that I immediately had to buy the trilogy. Although I've seen some things that make me question the quality of the trilogy instead of the PS2 versions. But Sonic 06 was one of the games I watched quite a lot of reviews of. Because very often what I found was reviews of Sonic 06, whenever it was one of many Sonic games that have been reviewed on channel. I'm getting shot at point blank range here. 06 was often like the longest review. By a considerable amount sometimes. Sometimes it could be like as little as a little over 10 minutes, and then other times you could find a review that was a good half an hour, if not more. And, you know, I often went for the longer the review, the more I can learn. Not necessarily always the case, but of course it is also a matter of opinion. So I found some that I enjoyed more than others. I thought some were a little bit over the top. You know, it got me more and more curious. I eventually got a PS3. You know, there were two other Sonic games on it that I had a far higher interest in, as Generations and finally experiencing the better version of Unleashed. I got hit, what's that? Why a shot at the crate just literally made me lose all my rings. But 06, after even Amazon tried to stop me from getting it due to the fact that the thing said dispatched, well, that was 2 years ago. It still hasn't arrived. So eventually I got the game used. And you know, in the end I didn't think it was quite as bad as most people have said. There were definitely some things that were an issue. The worst part of that entire first run was and always will be the car festival. That town mission where I then... I mean, technically it was my fault after that for not saving, because for some reason it doesn't give you the option to save after completing a town mission. And nearly getting a game over in Radical Train would have meant I would have had to have done all of that again with the other town missions. Thank you, Invincibility Frames. No, it's not worth it. That one-up's not worth it. But in the end, there have been some reviews that I have agreed with. I mean, in all fairness, it's your own opinion. Yeah, I'm not going to question that most of the time. But, you know, if you don't like the game, you don't like the game. If the game is... If you think that the game is slightly underrated, you know, that's perfectly fine as well. That's what I would say. For story mode. Maybe not so much for everything else. But there are a lot of reviews out there where I just thought, okay, you don't like the game, but some of this stuff is just ridiculous. You're complaining about such minor things a lot of the time. Now, I won't bring up too many names. For one thing, I didn't really pay attention to what many of their YouTube names were at the time. But if I bring up like the two of the most popular reviews of Sonic 06 on YouTube, both are channels I'm subscribed to. I think they're great. They're legends. But yeah, one of them isn't exactly something I would wholly agree with. One of them more so. But if I begin with Clement J64. There used to be a 2 in that name, but for some reason he took it out. Or as you may know him better as and very accurately, the Great Clement. Clement hates Sonic 06. That much, I can, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, he doesn't like Sonic 06. He's explained how he was so disappointed. He got really excited for it and ended up being what it was. Yeah, that's going to leave a mark. Yeah, if you hate a game because it ended up letting you down so much for when you got so excited for it, that is a perfectly fine reason for me. But it's one thing when you hate a game and then you just don't stop. And if there's one thing Clement loves to remind you, it's that he hates Sonic 06. Like, he really hates it. And again, fine. But he made like a whole... Okay, something was stopping Silver there. He made like... Jesus Christ, my rings! Seriously! These damn gold robots. But he made a whole multi-part review of it. In total, the thing goes on for like almost 3.5 hours. And which I thought was absolutely insane. I've watched it sporadically. I've never actually watched the entire thing. But for some of the videos that I did see, there were times where I did question what exactly it is you're complaining about. So when he got to Wave Ocean with Shadow, he was saying, how am I supposed to find my way around this? It's too big, too expansive. And I'm just thinking, in what way? Because you can clearly see where you're supposed to be going through the rocks. There are plenty of rings leading you where to go. The rocks are pretty obvious. You know, if you see something that looks breakable, chances are that's where you gotta go. The enemies are leading you to it. The rings are leading you to it. It literally takes, if I'm just moving along as normal with Shadow, it probably takes me about 10 seconds to get from one end to the other. So really, that's the sort of thing where I do... Silver, really, why can't you catch them all? They're not Pokemon. Maybe that's why. He decides they're not Pokemon, so he hasn't got to catch them all. I'm terrified of these crates now after that one crushed. After seemingly that one crushed me. But, like, he'll take any opportunity he can to just... I believe the words are usually, piece of shit game. This time I'm quoting, so I'm not censoring that out. I don't know why I did. I don't think it's the first time I've done it. He would either say that, or he would say stupid, followed by a word I won't say. Let's try not to make this one of those Let's Play channels until I get to Secret Rings or Shadow the Hedgehog. By the way, I can clearly see the graphics of those spikes going through the floor. Oh my god. That's just wow. But okay, you don't like the game, but do you have to keep saying it again and again and again? Because he quite recently did a Let's Play of Sonic Colors, and he was playing the DS version, and it got to the point where Silver and Blaze were both together, and they sort of make note of how the two work together in 06, and granted, in terms of story, that makes absolutely no sense. Especially since they've now gone back to Blaze's original backstory. But, you know, that was then, he started moaning about it for a good minute. It's like, alright, you do this on every opportunity you can. I mean, okay, Sonic 06, you say at the beginning of your review, is the worst video game you have ever played. I mean, he did say at the end of the review, it's not the worst. You know, he then brought up Big Rigs Over the Road Racing, and, well, show me something worse than Big Rigs Over the Road Racing. But there are times where you can go over the top of it. I know a lot of it is just for comedic effects. It's like how at the... I'm trying to catch these things. Okay. What is it with these guys and not dying to silver? Remember boss attack. Ugh. You know, obviously when he says something at the end like, oh, and anybody who says that Sonic 06 is not that bad is a... I gotta stop trying to do terrible impressions. Anybody who says that Sonic 06 is not that bad is a complete retard. You know, I'm not... Well, firstly, I'm not a massive lover of the word retard, but... You know, unless it's in French, where it literally means late. Can I just remain a Sonic for the rest of this thing? Oh, I hate... I managed to avoid this before. I couldn't see. I couldn't see. This is the water effect. Look at the little lines. But, yeah. I know he did it for comedic effect. You know, he didn't mean it. You know, he knows that anybody who thinks that Sonic 06 is not that bad, it's just their opinion. You know, Clement's a good guy, I imagine. He always seems like a good guy in his videos. But there's one thing where there are times where I can't just help but feel that, okay, you don't like Sonic 06. We get it. You don't need to keep bringing it up every single time. Before he made his Let's Play of Colors, he did a video about why he likes Sonic. Saying about how eventually the series starts to decline, but this was when he was sort of moved away from Sonic temporarily. And he literally then said, they made the worst thing ever. But was it? Is this really the worst thing ever when you compare it to many other games? I mean, I know it's of the ones he's played, but still. I can't help but feel that that is a little bit over the top. And by the way, where did that dash pad go? I saw it there, then it disappeared, and then it didn't appear again until I went over it. I mean, if he prefers Secret Rings over 06, that's fine. I don't mind. But there are times where I can't help but feel he just tries a bit too hard to showcase how he doesn't like 06. If you don't like it, that's fine, but Jesus Christ, there is such a thing as calming down. It's like one of two games. I believe the other one is Mega Man X6. I've seen the footage of him drunk. He's like, I hate Mega Man X6. I'm not sure if that was drunk or if he was just messing around, but it's one thing to hate a game, it's another to just keep going on about it. I think so far the review that I would agree with the most, again, just for opinion's sake, would be the review of, I'll say this now, greatest man on YouTube. I believe some call him Johnny. And, you know, that's pretty much the most popular Sonic 06 review on YouTube. I think I saw one that's had slightly higher reviews. I never actually watched that one. I just looked when I typed in Sonic 06 review, just to see if there were any that had seen as many as Johnny's. I think there was one, but I don't remember who that was off the top of my head. But I think there's about 3 reviews of Sonic 06 on YouTube that I've seen with over 1 million views. One is Johnny's, another is Gerard the Completionist of That One Video Gamer, which again I think I watched it all the way through one time. And again, I thought that was a little bit over the top. Again, I know that whenever they showed people destroying copies of Sonic 06, they weren't really. I think there might have been one, but other than that, they weren't really destroying them. It was pretty obvious that some of those flames were fake. But there was one other one, and then there was Johnny's. Because Sonic 06 was how I was introduced to Johnny. Johnny is the reason I've tried taking up Let's Playing. You know, he and the Super Gaming Brothers inspired me to do this. And whenever there's a game that Johnny has reviewed that I've also played, be it after seeing or before seeing the review, I'm gonna die now. But one thing, I need to destroy these towers using their missiles. Oh, I don't want to go towards these guys, come on. Oh great, rapid fire. But whenever Johnny's made a review of a game and I've played it, whether it's before seeing his review or after seeing his review, I very rarely find myself ever being in a position where I disagree with the man. Now, there are exceptions. Sometimes it might just be some things about the game. Sometimes it might be the game as a whole. I would probably say I like Sonic Heroes more than him. You know, Johnny says that when it comes to Sonic 06, Sonic is a guilty pleasure. But he doesn't like playing as Silver or Shadow. Silver, I'll agree with. By the way, I hate that. Sometimes that eagle sent Silver doesn't go under the water at all. Other times he almost completely submerged. By the way, I clipped through that explosive crater. But usually I agree with the man. And for 06, for the most part, I do. Because he's somebody that actually likes Sonic 06, at least for Sonic. You know, he doesn't really enjoy Silver, he doesn't really enjoy Shadow. There's still a number of things that he'll say he doesn't like about the game, and really I'll say all the same stuff. You know, he says, you know, I like the soundtrack more than Johnny. He prefers the likes of the adventure games over 06. 06 is still my favourite soundtrack, whereas his is like Japanese Sonic CD. Could have sworn that door was open a moment ago. Or closed, I should say. But then again, I guess Sonic supposedly has gone through it. Really? Really? It's like no ring boxes here. Oh yeah, there is. But, yeah, Johnny's review is certainly not as long as Clement's. You know, I didn't think it was possible, because I can't, because again, this is back when I was looking to think, the longer the review, the more I'll learn about 06, and everyone's going to have something different to tell. At the time, Johnny's review was the longest one I've seen. I think I've since seen 2 that are longer. One of them's Clement's. But 50 minutes was a long time. And I'm just like, okay, so this review is going to be of a guy named Johnny, clearly, reviewing Sonic 06. And it was very much what I was expecting. But it was the first one that actually went through the story. And if I ever think, okay, let's try explaining this story. No, I physically can't do that. It gets me really annoyed because it's impossible to do. The story aggravates me so much. Probably not to the extent of Johnny, though. Like, the story really drives him insane. It's probably like drives him more insane than anything else about this game. Despite the messed up, glitchy gameplay that many people will complain about, it's the story that really gets him. You know, there are plenty of other things that do get to him. a lot of the time it's playing a story, you know, the hub worlds, the lack of physics in certain areas, all that stuff. That's all the stuff I can expect, but at least Johnny doesn't go over the top. Again, if he ever does, it's for comedic effect, whether it's using censored mode in his review of Lost Levels, or drunk Johnny, who, as far as I think he did say at one point, he wasn't actually drunk when he did his review of Super Mario Sunshine. And two of those they're actually two of my favourite reviews, which is why I went out to get Lost Levels. Thankfully I now have Super Mario All-Stars, so it's not so bad, but slightly not so bad. But yeah, I got Sunshine. That was the first GameCube title I owned. And I just find those... Really? Really, the spring launches me into the lava? I'm convinced something didn't load there. Because that spring just sent me straight into the lava. I either stopped for some reason, something clearly happened there that wasn't supposed to happen, because that spring launched me right into lava. And I was temporarily pushing against that spring. You know, Johnny is always pretty much, his duty is to try and get us into games that he thinks we should play. I'm not exactly sure what his favourite game is. I always took it as Super Metroid. The Super Metroid, Metroid Prime, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. He'll just say again and again at the end of his review, play the game. Whatever you do, play, no matter how you play it, just play it. But, you know, if a game is really bad, if it's something like Big Rigs or Superman 64 or Cory in the House or Mary Kate and Ashley Sweet 16 License to Drive, which I did find one point, and I was like, no, I must not touch this game. But that's I love the stuff Johnny does. I always eagerly await his next review. I always eagerly await the next Let's Play, or the next part of a Let's Play, even if it's a game that I have no knowledge about, not very much interest in. I don't really have much interest in ever getting into the Kingdom Hearts series, but I've really enjoyed watching. I enjoy watching the Kingdom Hearts 1 LP, and I've really been enjoying the Kingdom Hearts 2 LP that they've been doing. Now, most of the LPs on the Super Game Brothers are games I've never heard of. But I have since heard of them, and I always eagerly await the next part, or a return to the series. Unless it's Resident Evil. Because, that series just does not interest me at all. However, the next one they're doing is 4. Which I've heard so many good things about. And Johnny did a whole Let's Play of Sonic 06 in 2012. At the end of their Sonic the Hedgehog Marathon, which they did all in one night after 3 runs of Sonic 1, Johnny asked his subscribers what is the next Sonic game they want him to Let's Play. And it was a close contest between Sonic Adventure, Sonic Colors, and Sonic 06, with 06 winning. And I just love how they pop out of the ground like that. But, you know, he wasn't entirely negative throughout the entire thing. Unlike Clement, Clement has stated plenty of times he will never Let's Play the game. Because he's planning on doing a whole retrospective of the entire Sonic series. From beginning to end. Whether or not he actually... You know, it might be a full Let's Play, it might be a look at, it might just be something he covers in like an extra video, like he did when he did his Goodbye Classic Sonic video. Where besides Sonic Genesis, he covered every other Sonic game that he didn't really mention. Yeah, like, he did a Let's Play of the Sonic Spinball, but he never did a Let's Play of the 8-bit Sonic Spinball. Honestly, don't blame him, but He at least brought mention to it. He brought mention to the likes of the arcade game, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, because he doesn't have any method of playing that. I think there is an emulator somewhere that is capable, because someone was able to do it for the charity live streams a few years ago, the Sonic-a-thon. Someone was able to play it. I forget who, because I missed that one, but someone was able to play it. Someone got an emulator that was able to get the controls for a trackball game, which is the reason it wasn't in Gem's collection. I'm still wondering why Knuckles Chaotix wasn't. The damn artwork is still in it, but ow. I can understand why they're having trouble porting Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. But in some way, it must be possible to do for the trackball controls. If an emulator can do it, is it possible to just do on a console? Because most people are going to be playing those emulators using game controllers, whether it's a DualShock 3, DualShock 4, or the Xbox 360, Xbox One controllers, anything like that. What is that I'm trying to say here? But anyway, so Johnny has played Sonic 06 what he would consider to be more times than he ever actually has the right to. As Clement said when he and Johnny did a collab for Mega Man 3, it says you're crazy. Says the man who's played Sonic 06 more than once for the internet. You did a 3-hour review on it. Oh, like your review is that much shorter. And yes, I do know all the words. Well, not all the words, but I know a good chunk of them. You know, obviously, they try and make it sound like they have a bit of a rivalry, mostly with a City Escape inside Generations 30-second time trial. But it's just messing around. You know, Clement's invited Johnny a few times onto his channel. Clement's joined Johnny and Ryan and Lewis and Ted for Brain Scratch a few times. But if there's one thing they just can't let go, it's 06. Because one thing that Johnny frequently mentions is how he raises eyebrows when he says that he thinks Shadow the Hedgehog is worse. A lot of people still question his thoughts about that. They just don't think that... They can't seem to see that it's actually possible for someone to like Shadow the Hedgehog more than Sonic 06. And now that has even been beaten out by Sonic and the Secret Rings. I've yet to actually been able to work... Because I don't think he said it directly in the Brain Scratch run when he actually asked it. Do they think Rise of Lyric is worse than 06? Everyone else was like, no. Some have said that it's average, some have said that it's bad, but none of them have said that it's on 06's level. And when it comes to Johnny, I'm not sure. Maybe he mentioned it at some point in his Supersonic Super Stream and Knuckles. Oh, sorry, Supersonic Send-Off Stream and Knuckles. Which I did miss, sadly. But at the moment, I don't actually know if he thinks that it's worse than 06. Okay, let's get away from here. Again, can these rocks hit you? I'm going to keep asking that. I thought one of them was about to then. But Johnny is perfectly happy to play Sonic 06 for all sorts of reasons. You know, he said, if I ever play Sonic 06 again, it'll be for charity. Funnily enough, the last time he's played Sonic 06 for the internet was for charity. It was initially just supposed to be for Sonic's story, but it ended up they ended up making so much money that they quickly ran out of incentives when there was only two, Sonic 06 and Rise of Lyric. And so it eventually just became a whole entire thing. Like a whole entire 8-hour run, I think it was, of Sonic 06. In the name of charity. And when you look at his review, not his review, his Let's Play, it's 50 parts long. I mean, this one's 60, but it's because I'm showing off some stuff he didn't. Plus the fact that I'm doing quite a bit of the extra stuff blind. But that Let's Play is 50 parts long. If you count everything. If you go to the playlists on the channel, it will say 49. That's because he did separate videos for their theme songs, and All Hell Shadows one isn't on the playlist. That's the only thing. So other than that, it's a 50 part Let's Play, and it covers the game's main story. That was 30 parts long, and then shortly after completing that, they did the multiplayer. He brought in Elliot and Matt, and well, if you haven't seen the multiplayer yet, you know, that's the one thing I'm not showing off. Unless I can find somebody who will happily join me. And maybe ask a friend who's at least familiar with Sonic enough that even if they don't like 06, they won't mind joining me just for the multiplayer. Let's face it can lead to some great moments. So if you haven't seen Sonic 06's multiplayer in action, watch it on the Super Gaming Brothers. I highly recommend Part 3, by the way, because that really contains one of the greatest things I have ever watched. Yeah, if anybody was ever curious as to exactly what Johnny meant in the review, especially when the level has a particular vendetta against someone. SGB plays Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 multiplayer. Okay, it's a good thing though. I didn't realize I had that ring. Yeah, SGB plays Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 multiplayer Part 3. It's towards the end of the video, and you will be laughing your ass off, but not as much as the one in the video. Not as much as them, especially Matt. You know, Matt, I don't know if he's actually played 06, but he's never outright stated it, but Matt of the Super Gaming Brothers will still say that Sonic 06 truly was as bad as it is, whereas Johnny and his brother Elliot will both say that it's really not that bad. There's really as much as the social hate that 06 truly gets. Elliot will defend aspects of it, maybe not Flame Core, but they'll both defend certain aspects of it, especially when comparing it to Shadow the Hedgehog or Secret Rings. But they never deny the fact that it is a game that has a lot of problems. But towards the end of Johnny's review, the exact words were, "This is certainly not the worst game of all time, people." Because he just doesn't believe it is. Because Johnny plays some really bad games. I do wonder why he owns some of them. I get it for something like a donation or something, but why does he own Big Rigs? Did he know what he was getting himself into? Because he found it, according to his review, he found it at a vintage store for $2. But nowadays you can go onto Amazon. You'll find the thing for like $60 for the worst thing ever. And ow. Yeah, he'll say stuff like that, or Superman 64. I imagine Mary-Kate and Ashley's Sweet 16 License to Drive. Bubsy 3D. All games he's never outright said it, but I'm pretty sure that if you asked him, he'd say 06 is, at the very least, the one he'd rather play. Even if it's just for Sonic. You know, I'm pretty sure you guys are all familiar with the amount of negativity, some of it. Please tell me one of those rings is going to fall down here. No, it's not. Hey! Come back! Okay. Whoa! I'm being dive bombed by phoenixes. Purple phoenixes. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Right, who's gonna kill me first? It was you on the right. I was that close to the end. But, what was I saying? And Johnny just keeps on going back to Sonic 06. Because he's revisited the game 4 times for the Let's Play. Over those 50 videos, that consists of 4 individual times he's returned to the game. 1 time for the main LP, which was, you know, those 30 main parts plus 4 extra videos. 3 of which are just the theme songs. And then 1 where he just showcased a few little extra things. And don't worry, if I haven't done them yet, I will be showing off some of those as well. But, you know, then he went and did the multiplayer. He went and then did Team Attack Amigo shortly before making the review. And then he ended things off with very hard mode. Yeah, he didn't go through all the silver medals. He didn't... Come on, Silver. Nope. He didn't go for all the silver medals. He didn't go for... he didn't do hard mode. He, after being asked, specifically said no to ever doing boss attack. But that's what you call dedication. No, you'll sit back and you'll play a game that you don't like, but you know, at the same time it's still something that you can somewhat enjoy. A guilty pleasure, even if nobody else likes it, even if you don't like it as a whole. Because if there's one thing that Johnny still struggles to get out, it's the fact that Sonic 06 only Sonic story is the guilty pleasure. He doesn't like playing with Silver very much. He doesn't like playing with Shadow very much. But a lot of people still seem to take it as the fact that it's the entirety of Sonic 06 is the guilty pleasure, when that's not the case. But you know, Johnny will make it clear that he does have a guilty pleasure when it comes to playing as Sonic in Sonic 06. And I'm not going to argue, because very much I find it to be the same. He doesn't go all over the top like some other reviewers do. Because, you know, if I bring up Cabana Manny 456, I haven't watched his Sonic 06 LP, but I'm well aware he doesn't like it. He's mentioned it a number of times, but again, he very rarely actually ever brings up that game. And it's like, he doesn't like it, that's an end of it. Because if you just say you don't like a game, maybe you can maybe mention it once every now and then, but by the time that you've become well known, everyone's watched your LPs, why do you keep feeling the need to mention it? When it's just like, alright, we get it, you don't like it. I mean, sure, maybe somebody has only just been introduced to your channel through this LP, so maybe you feel a need to say it. But at the very least, you don't need to say it with such force, like Clement keeps doing. All of them, all these ones I've mentioned. You know, the great Clement, some call me Johnny and the Super Gaming Brothers, Cabana Manny 456. These are channels I'm subscribed to for a reason. So I am currently only subscribed to, because I haven't been doing this for very long, I think I've subscribed to 6 channels so far. And they're all the ones that I've been watching for some time. And yeah, I don't mind revealing the fact that I'm subscribed to them. Because why not? I want you guys to watch them. And you know, I think they're all great at what they do. Yeah, I've watched them all for maybe various reasons. Yeah, I often, if there's like ever a game that I just want to see something interested in, it might be something new. They'll often be played by Kobe. For Banner Mary 456. Very often if it's Sonic or Mario related. And if there's ever something I want to watch just because I want to have a good laugh, I can rely on all of them, but it's mostly going to be Johnny or the Super Gaming Brothers. Oh, that was a bad jump. It's mostly going to be Johnny or the Super Gaming Brothers who I'm going to watch. So I'm listening to three guys having fun. Having a great laugh, even if it's got nothing to do with the game whatsoever. Or simply because the games just want to... If you ever want to see a game not work properly for a Let's Play, you watch them. Because I don't think they've gone through a single LP without the game doing something wrong. Whether it, you know, something that's not their fault. Whether it's dying on Yoshi or meteors in Flame Core. Or, I know there's plenty of others. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure. You know, the stuff that they would often describe as, like, shenanigans. They call shenanigans on the game. Because it's got to be something that doesn't go right. Sometimes it is their own fault. Crash 3. Oh, come on! Granted, I technically fell down first. Not now. It's right there. I want to end this, damn it. Come on. It's late. This video is 42 minutes long. And I wasn't kidding when I said these videos are going to start getting longer. But granted, I keep talking every time I die. I should really stop doing that, because that means that you guys keep seeing the same thing. Because I'm not going to edit that out. I really need to get out of the habit to stop doing that. But anyway. Oh, that was me being stupid. I somehow forgot that that giant flame ball thing shoots out stuff. Don't actually know what it's shooting, but I keep forgetting it's there. Oh, please hurry up and fire! Not you guys! Okay, there we go. If there's one thing that I do rely on Clement for, it's information. You know, the guy knows what he's talking about a lot. Because if there's one thing that I had a hard time playing for my first goes, it was just about every single 8-bit Sonic game. If I was ever stuck on a level, or if I was trying to find where the Chaos Emeralds are in the likes of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, I would boot up YouTube and I'd get Clement. I'd go straight to Clement. He was always the first one I'd go to for this sort of thing. Oh, okay. Oh no, it does do it. He didn't say just as I suspected. Oh, I hate this part! Let's just wait for them to disappear and randomly sink through the ground. My only issue with Clement is how much he goes on about how he dislikes Sonic 06. Where he goes a bit over the top, I can't help but feel. Other than that, well, there's a reason I'm subscribed to him, because I think he truly is the great Clement. And, yeah, I just think that that Clement is an example of putting a bit too much hate on Sonic 06. If you don't like it, that's fine. But you go a little bit too far. And I can't help but feel that you might suddenly start maybe annoying some of the people that actually like 06. To an extent, anyway. I know there are some people that actually really like 06. Often if it's like the first Sonic game they played. It's not the best of starts, I have to say. But, you know. If something is over the top, I'm going to hate it. I find. I think there's such a thing as going too far. And that's where IGN's Sonic Unleashed review comes in. Because that is the worst thing I have ever watched. Well, that's the worst review I've ever watched. But let's leave IGN out of this for now. Firstly, those channels I mentioned, go watch them. All 4 of them. Actually 5. I mentioned 5 of them. So go watch them. I highly recommend it. You know, they're all the people that got me into many of the games I have, and why I'm here recording Sonic 06. Don't ask me why I chose this as the first one, I just did. But, anyway, that is the end of Silver's Very Hard mode. Now I would cheer, but that's probably just sounded terrible through the microphone, but that is what's coming up next. Now let's end this 45-minute video that contains 2 levels. This video is 45 minutes long, 46 minutes long. 2 levels! That's all this is, 2 levels! And almost all of it is Flame Core. Ugh. Yeah, forget the 100%. See, the S ranks are out.